First of all, thank you very much, like John Murray. Nice compliment to Japan, anyway. But also the fellow panelists, they actually made very good points about the China, particularly. Next week, Chinese leader Xi Jinping, he's coming to visit here in London, staying in Buckingham Palace for 2 nights. I wish him warm welcome and also the success of visiting here. So obviously, the British, they really want to actually get friendly to China. And however, the reason why I'm here is I really don't want you to forget about the very friendly island nation, share the same value, typically the freedom of speech, very important today. It's Japan. Interestingly, we really want to actually make very friendly to the China as well. China, actually, it's our biggest trading partner, and also Japan is the largest international investor into China. And historically, Japan was the biggest ODA, Overseas Development Aid, donor to China, even far before the China became superpower like it. So they definitely helped the Chinese peaceful race in the past. Unfortunately and apparently, Chinese Communist Party really don't want to advertise it. So damn, but that's a fact. Anyway, historically, we've been dealing with China for such a long time, so we know them pretty well, actually 1,500 years. So anyway, that's a long history lesson. But in the last 10 years, we've been actually monitoring China quite carefully because the slowing down is coming definitely because we experienced exactly the same thing in the past. So quite a few companies already have taken the risk-avert strategy. In Japan, we call it China Plus One. So recently, Panasonic, they closed their factory in China quietly, not really in a big, like a bang, quietly. And some other companies too, like Toshiba, Uniqlo, TDK, Daikin, you name it. And then rather than spending in China, they started seeing the place like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, of course, and then most recently, Myanmar is a very popular place. And especially among small and medium-sized companies. Now, China is not exactly the first choice for their first manufacturing facilities to set up. They want to spend the money into other areas. So the lesson is please don't bet all your money into China. Well, anyway, as I told you, the China is very important like a partner. However, Japan is quite interesting. A lot of people, to some extent, misunderstand that. Japan is not really heavily exports dependency-wise. It's not really that much. The reason why the Japanese economy is very strong now, it's kind of like stagnated a little bit. But one of the reasons is Japan's very big, strong economy itself, the domestic. We have 128 million population, highly sophisticated, with a huge buying power, technology advanced. And a lot of industry, they really don't want exports. They really want to serve the domestically. For instance, a service industry, creative industry. Very good example is the music industry. In Japan, music industry is 80% Japanese only. So the Madonna is really small, just over there. It's minute. For instance, last year, 5 top 10 hits in Japan, coming from one single group called AKB48. Some of you might know. Most of the people really don't know. Interestingly, 100 girls actually in the one group. They're the world officially Guinness record. Anyway, those girls, they actually released 5 singles, top five. Each, they actually sold more than 1 million single CDs. That's very interesting. Japan still you can sell CDs. So that's quite interesting market there. Okay, about Japan economy, I really have to talk about the Abenomics. Let's remind you what Abenomics is. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Abe, he used to be archer when he was young. So he used arrow to explain his economic policy. There are 3 arrows. First one is monetary policy. Second one, fiscal stimulus. And third one is a structural reform. Okay, let's talk about the first one. First arrow is basically printing money. It's not really unique. Daniel mentioned that it works. Anyway, I'm not sure. Well, but anyway, we actually did that in unprecedented scale. So lots of money. So like a finance minister called Mr. Aso, he actually described this one. This is not exactly arrow. This is a bazooka, because interestingly, Mr. Aso, he was a marksman. So that's the reason why he used bazooka. So successful? Yes, in the short term, the Japanese stock market went up more than double within 3 years, and also the overvalued Japanese yen dropped more than 30%. That helped tremendously the Japanese export industries, but also the companies, they have a lot of foreign operations, their profitability went up just like that. So it was really successful in the short term. Second arrow was the public spending, basically. It's not enough, and then in the past there are quite a few strange spending there. We have to actually do it carefully, but Olympic is coming in year 2020. So I hope they will actually make the good the spending there. Reform is the not really single arrow, but lots of arrows. Deregulation, revitalizing the rural economy, improving the corporate governance, but also probably the biggest challenge is the changing the rigid Japanese labor market. Because it's coming from Japan as the aging nation, Japanese population getting old, we have to increase the birth rate. However, Abenomics is a womanomics as well. So the women, now more women's actually in the working place. However, 2/3 of women, they're not coming back after the birth. So the Mr. Abe really wants to put them easily. So the daycare, that's a good example to do it. Fathers, they really have to change their a working practice. The longer you stay in the office, you're the hard worker, you have to change the mentality. Then they can come back home early and then play with the kids. So immigration is a very interesting subject. Is it really good a solution to the shrinking population? Not really. You really have to accept more than 1 million immigrants every year to compensate that. It's impossible. It's a long term to make the Japanese a diverse a society. However, it's changing that. Last time I stayed in the hotel, usually hotel was cleaned by the Japanese lady in the past, but I found the kind of card in front of my pillow say, Jan actually prepared this room yesterday. So it means that a lot of people now started coming, so it's changing now. Anyway, the Abenomics works. People started seeing that optimistic now. We optimistic people, and then probably the light at the end of the tunnel. In Japanese, we call the Hiwa Mata Noboru. Japan as the land of rising sun. I sincerely hope that the sun will rise again. Apart from that, apart from our Abenomics, unfortunately, we haven't got any plan B. Thank you.